Hello and welcome to the Big Ideas Show. I'm Liu Batchelor and today I'm joined by Rebecca Smith from Social Enterprise Kent. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us, what do you do at Social Enterprise Kent?
Social Enterprise Kent is a social enterprise that has been running for 30 years and in a very quick nutshell, we work with people to help them get back into employment. We deliver a huge range of training and we work with communities and projects and social enterprise to help them support whatever they might need.
Brilliant. Sounds good, and we're going to be hearing more about that after these titles. Welcome to the Big Ideas Show. This is the show all about ideas and insight and sharing them with the wider community. And today our particular discussion is around social enterprise, this idea of business and community and charity coming together. I want to say a big thank you before we get into the interview to our sponsors, the Glass Whiteboard Company, and also to our venue, who are the Grand here in Folkestone. But without further ado, Rebecca Smith, thank you for joining me in the hot seat today.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
It's good. So I thought this was a great chance because you are all about social enterprise, aren't you? And our discussion is going to be about that. A big topic, a big thing really. I think social enterprise is massively growing. Yeah. So I want to hear about your story, but before we get to that, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do at Social Enterprise Kent, a little bit more in depth?
Okay. So Social Enterprise Kent has been in operation since the 80s, and we have, I guess we were started by two social entrepreneurs who were a bit ahead of their time. So basically, there were a Kent County Council were outsourcing all of its home help back then, and our founders bid and were successful for a lot of that work. So we started up a social enterprise that was all about helping people, predominantly women, get back into work through domiciliary care, and we still run that business today. So we've got All Seasons Domiciliary Care Agency, which is the CIC itself. We also deliver a huge range of training across Kent, so it could be anything from a short course in safeguarding right through to social enterprise specific training. And then we also have employability programs that help people get back into employment. They might have just been out of work for a short time, or they might have been out of work for quite a long time. We will work with people to support them and guide them back into employment. And then finally, we run a whole huge range of different community programs. Down in Thanet, we've got a fantastic program called Ageless Thanet, which is all about helping people over the age of 50 who are at risk of social isolation get back into their communities and join in with their communities. So, and then of course we help social enterprises. Awesome. So we do lots and lots of different things.
Absolutely, and that's the bit we're going to focus on today, isn't it? Because that's particularly your passion.
Yes.
But I just want to kind of go back before we go into your story. You mentioned there about the guys who founded it were a bit ahead of their time. How long has kind of social enterprise as an entity been a thing that exists?
Well, I mean, I guess a long time. There are some pretty famous social enterprises that have been in existence for a long time. John Lewis, Co-op. Really? So there are some big kind of social enterprises like that. Okay. But in probably the last 10 years, the Community Interest Company has been set up as a legal entity to kind of formally recognise social enterprises. And since then, I read an article from Social Enterprise UK just recently to say that there's 100,000 social enterprises in the UK now. So it's growing quite quickly.
Definitely, yeah. And it's a topic I'm really interested in this coming together of business and doing good.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that in part 2, I think. But I want to kind of touch on your story because I always believe that it's the person and the people kind of behind things and driving it that really bring a lot of the inspiration. So tell me, what's your background?
So my background's not really social enterprise, actually. So way back in the olden days, I did a degree in hotel management, of all things, but it was very much business focused, and I learned all about different types of business. And I've always been that person that wants to have good customer service and always work with people. So then I'm from Australia, you can tell by my accent, and I came over to England and then kind of fell into working at Social Enterprise Kent, but it kind of fits really well with my values as a person and my ethos, and the fact that you're able to do some fantastic work with people, still be really business minded, which is my background in terms of my kind of degree, and just be able to keep supporting people and doing good for all sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like that bringing that business world into the more community, more socially minded, more values-based thing is a key part of why you do what you do.
Exactly, yeah.
So what would you say are some of the really key things that you think kind of your experience and kind of, I guess, some of the work you do at Social Enterprise Kent kind of brings to some of these people that may be kind of doing great things and it's growing, they want to make it into something bigger, but business doesn't feel quite right to them. How do you kind of work with them to get them to the next stage, really, going from maybe a community project or something they're doing good to
So I work with, we've got a project that's funded by this European Union and through the Chamber of Commerce here in Kent, called the South East Business Boost. So at the moment I'm working with 25 social enterprises to help with capacity building. So it could be, it's so many different types of businesses that I'm working with. So it might be startup businesses, there was social enterprises that are just starting their journey and don't know how to set up a social enterprise. So I help work with them on legal entity type stuff and governance and all the things that they need to do to get the foundations right for their social enterprise. I could be working with charities that want to start up a social enterprise arm, small social enterprises, large social enterprises. They're so different and they're all doing different things. So I'm working with cafes and I'm working with an animal retreat farm over in Herne Bay called Retreat into Wonderland, which is helping to rescue animals. And then the next day I'm going into a training organisation. And but the common theme throughout all of those 25 social enterprises that I'm lucky enough to work with is that they're all doing good. They're all trying to make a profit. They're all trying to do as much, have as much trading coming through their business as they possibly can, so that they can do more good.
Yeah.
So it's like a self-fulfilling or a perpetual circle kind of cycle. That the more money you make, the more profit, the more good work you can do, and it goes on and on and on.
Definitely. And do a lot of them having that kind of mindset? Is that something you have to work with them quite a lot to be able to be focused more on the making money, but so that they can do good, rather than thinking, oh, business and profit is, I think, not social. Yeah,
most of the people that I work with go into this type of business because they want to do good. They're not necessarily, and I'm speaking generally, they're not necessarily people who are fantastic at business, but they've got a really good idea and they really want to show, do something good. So I work with them to help work on business plans and marketing plans and all those things that maybe come a bit more naturally to some of the more commercial businesses out there, just to try and make sure that they're maximising their potential in order to realise as much social impact as they possibly can.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tricky balance, I can imagine,
Absolutely.
but something that it sounds like it's the way it's going, social enterprise, and we're going to be chatting more about the rise of the social enterprise and kind of have a bit of a discussion about why and how it's kind of come about. But we're going to have a quick break now and we'll be chatting more after this. Thank you for staying with us. You're here with Rebecca Smith from Social Enterprise Kent, and we've had a great chat. And I love that you saying about the founders of Social Enterprise Kent were kind of ahead of their time, really. And I guess that's something I want to look at a bit more now, is this discussion of why are social enterprises thriving, and this reflection of what it says about our society, what it says about business. I guess, first off, maybe you might know, I'm not expecting you to know the exact answers, but how much has it grown? How have you seen the industry change over the last few years?
I mean, it's growing massively. Again, I read the same article, in fact, from the Social Enterprise UK, to say that social enterprises are growing. I think it was about 47% versus SMEs at 34% in terms of turnover. They're growing hugely in terms of success, but there's also more and more social enterprises growing, starting up every week.
Yeah, and what is it about now that you think that they are thriving?
So I think people see how the world should be. There's a fantastic social enterprise in Brighton, and it's a supermarket called How It Should Be, and it's Hisby is what it is, and it's a social enterprise supermarket, and that kind of rings true for me. You know, it's about a way all businesses should be socially minded. All businesses should have a corporate social responsibility policy, if nothing else. And I think everybody's starting, there's a movement, and everybody's starting to really appreciate that we can't keep doing to the world what we're doing to the world, whether it be environmental or social or, you know, all sorts of different things. So we all have a responsibility to make sure that the world is there for our children and our children's children in the best possible way it can be. I think just people are more socially minded these days.
Yes. Do you think one day we'll get to the stage where we don't have business, we just have social enterprises?
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would, wouldn't it?
It would be aming,
but
I don't think so.
It would be a challenging thing to do, but I guess the more, at least if they go towards that, the better.
And I think, I mean, more and more bigger businesses, I'd hope, are starting to reinvest some of their profit back into the business, but might not consider themselves to be social enterprises. So I think that would be a good step. But unfortunately, there are too many kind of big businesses out there that are just all about making a profit and profit for shareholders. And I understand that. You know, that's the world needs to work that way sometimes. But I think if we have a healthy balance between charities, social enterprises, and private commercial business, that they could all work together, and the government, public sector, that we can all work together to try and make the world a better place.
Yeah,
without being too cliche.
No, absolutely. Well, it's more values based, isn't it, as well? And that I think it's the millennial mindset, but I don't typecast it to just that age group. It's to everyone that we want to do work that we enjoy and work for people that kind of we respect because they're doing good things.
And I think these days social enterprises are more diverse. So you've got more women leading social enterprises, and considering that we've had International Women's Day fairly recently, it just brings to light that lots of different people from lots of different walks of life can lead businesses, whatever they are. There's more BAME led social enterprises, and it's always improving.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if people out there listening are interested, either they are a social enterprise or they are considering becoming a social enterprise, or morphing. Actually, that's a good way. Can people morph between? Can they be a charity and go, you know what? Actually, a social enterprise would be a more effective way, or the other way, business into social enterprise?
Absolutely, and of the 25 that I'm working with, I think there are about 3 or 4 charities that are thinking about swapping to a CIC, and there are a couple of businesses who are limited by shares that are wanting to change to either limited by guarantee or to a community interest company. So it's happening quite a lot actually. Okay. Or social enterprise or charities, I should say, that just want to have a social enterprise trading arm to support. So they've got both legal structures there.
Okay. Yeah. So what would you say, I guess, are the main challenges, and as a result, therefore, what your advice would be to people considering social enterprise as the way forward for them?
By far and away, the most challenging thing for social enterprises is funding. Yep. Unsurprisingly. Funding is really difficult for startups, but also for established social enterprises. So all social enterprises will have to think about some kind of grant writing and grant funding to go alongside their trading, whatever their trading, profit-making thing is. So they might be selling a service or a product or all sorts of different things, but they will most likely have to look at grant funding. So if you're going to start thinking about it, start thinking about articulating what your social remit is, what your outcomes are, what you're trying to achieve as a social enterprise, in order to be able to write about that to funders who will give you money, and that's definitely very helpful.
Yeah, it seems like a good way to help get enterprises started up and kick-started. Absolutely. And then, like you said, fuel that perpetual, but then you are self-sustaining, which is the perfect balance, really, isn't it? Get started and then keep going.
Yeah, do some projects that wash its own face, as we say, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Okay, this has been a great chat, and hopefully, I think there's going to be lots more social enterprises. And if people out there are considering one and they maybe want to get in touch with you, find out more, maybe how you can help them, because I know you offer lots of support, don't you?
Yeah, get in contact with me.
How can they get in touch?
So if you go to www.sekgroup.org.uk, and all our contact details are on there, and there's a whole heap of training that we offer, and my contact details are there too, so you can get in contact that way.
Brilliant. Becca, thank you very much. It's been great. Cheers. And thank you out there for listening today. And if you have an idea that you'd like to be talking about right here in this hot seat, then please do get in touch. Maybe you're a social enterprise, maybe you're a charity, or maybe you're a business with some good values doing stuff for the community. We're the Big Idea Show on all of the social media channels. And one final thing to say is just a big thank you to everyone who has helped make the Big Idea Show possible today. We have our sponsors, who are the Glass Whiteboard Company. We have the Grand in Folkestone, who are hosts this wonderful venue. And we have all of our crew and contributors. So we have Hax from Prisma Broadcast. He is right there on camera 1. We have Glenn on camera 2. And we also have Hannah on camera 3. And I also want to say a big thank you to Warren from Flourish and to Erin from 6-2. And a big thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.